So it's been a couple of years since I made a revisited bear video to see how it's actually doing since I tanned it. I took it off the wall currently. It's been hanging there a year. Previously to that, it's been hanging out in a bin for about maybe 2 years. Previous to that, a couple of years in a basement that had a dehumidifier. All right, so let's check it out and see how it's holding up. All right, so let's start off with the head. First of all, you have to understand, I'm not professional, okay? I'm just a guy that wants to do this on the cheap. And a lot of people are going to be angry with that, you know, taking a risk to actually ruin an animal just to try something out, but so be it, right? This is what I had. This is the means I had at the time. And my passion kind of superseded what I really would have wanted to do is get a professional taxidermist. So I did it anyways, right? And it worked, okay? Because my past experiences, they have worked. So it gave me confidence, okay, to tackle something like this. All right, so let's have a look. Now the nose, yeah, it's all mashed up and whatever else like that, but I'm just hanging this on my wall as it is right now. I don't want this to rot. That's my main goal. All right, so lips, okay, right? Because you turn those, right? Same thing with your nose, eyes as well, no issues, okay? Right now I'm in a very hot garage and the humidity is moderate and it's been in here about a year, okay? So I make sure there's no insects and all the other things that could potentially damage this. But on average, I'm probably running around 20 to 30% humidity. So it's not the end of the world. All right, so ears, okay. Now I left these open for quite some time, right? Because if anything's gonna go, it's gonna be these ears, right? So I left them kind of open like this for a while. And then once they were nice and dried out, I don't know, at least 6 months. You know, like that might be ridiculous, but for this kind of do-it-yourself tan, I didn't want to take a chance, right? Because losing the ears would be tragic. And then I folded them back to their original shape. And same thing with this one. All right, let's have a look. All right. I don't see any issues. So the reason why I actually have it down right now, I haven't even combed it, touched it, or did anything to it. And yeah, you know, I staple it to the wall and yeah, we might find staples. All right, so be it. And I know you guys are going to hate me for it, but that's what I did. I'm just being real here. It's better than in a bin, okay? And we'll carry on. Let's look at the hide. There's a lot of gouges and gashes and all that fun stuff, right? So this is the finished product of the hide. Now, if you've watched the video, now I didn't have a video of me actually skinning it. This is the only knife I used to flesh this bear. I can't even tell you how long it took. At least 24 hours of solid fleshing. Because when you first flesh it, you flesh it again. All right, then you flesh it again, and then you flesh it again. Then you take it out of the solution, and then you flesh it again, and put it back in, and then you flesh it again, and then again, because you start seeing more issues, right? All your sins, once it's wet, are visible. Now, next time I do this, if I ever do it again, honestly, if I had to use this knife to do it again, I don't think I would. If I had to stay alive to keep warm, yes, I would. And that's the whole purpose of me doing it in the first place, okay? It's not to mount it on the wall. It's not to sell it. It's just to see if I can actually do it, right? And that's the whole point. All right, so let's look at the paws, all right? Now, I probably could have got closer, of course, right? But this is as close as I got with the tools that I had. And I was taking a chance, absolutely. And it worked out. So if you look in way deep here, all right, everything is good, right? Right down to the first knuckle. Now let's look at the fur, all right? Now let's kind of try to pull it out. You know, I'm not trying to pull it out as hard as I can, but slippage, if there was slippage, you'd know, right? Now, when I was drying this out, I made sure that I was making sure that I was reinforcing this to keep it open for quite some time. All right. Because if anything's going to go, it's going to be the paws, the ears, etc. Okay. And anything in the head, right? So this was open as well. Fans are going. All right. So let's have a look at the hide itself. All right. So the hide itself is not overly stiff, but it's also not overly flexible. All right. So a professional tan, this would be kind of like a blanket consistency, right? It would just totally fall upon itself, right? There'd be no creases like this that you see right now. But I worked the hell out of this by hand. I actually had my wife, she gummed this, right? To make it more flexible. For weeks and weeks and weeks after work, she'd come and gum this and chew it. She'd take out her teeth and she would chew on this hide to make it supple. Also, you'll see there are holes, okay? I never got around to sewing them because I was lazy. Honestly, it wasn't going to be sold to anybody. It wasn't going to be professionally hung, you know. Who knows what excuse I conjured up at the time and why I didn't do anything about it. So anyways, yeah, there are holes. There are 2 bullet holes here and other little nicks and cuts. But yeah, you can also see, okay, where the slashes of the knife weren't consistent. So anybody doing this, or even get a ulu, I hope I'm saying it correctly. I wish I had one of those that actually just kind of, you can swipe it, all right? The old traditional ulu knife to actually flesh this properly, right? Because you got to flesh it down to the blue. And I didn't get it quite to where I wanted to, but I took a chance and went with it, okay? And it worked, right? I think it needed to be consistently kind of over here. You see where the spine is? Well, I went too far because you can see where the hair went through, right? But just, because like I was starting to cut through where the hair follicle is, and that's where it kind of started to go through. Bears have thin skin. It's not like a coyote, all right? You have to be very, very careful. All right, let's have a look at the hair itself. All right, I haven't combed this in forever. All right, I was actually surprised when I first shot this that how thick the fur was and such a beautiful hide. All right, maybe because it was a younger bear. Like this is a very small bear. I think it's like 5'4". It's probably like maybe, you know, a couple years old, 2 or 3 max. All right, so I use one of these dudes. All right. And I'm just gonna run it through. Not too hard. I don't want to take too much out unnecessarily and start pulling, right? There might be some gnats in there for God knows whatever reason. But let's have a look. Actually, it's pretty good so far. So it's going all the way in pretty much. I'm not pushing overly hard, but here we go. So you can see that a lot of hair is definitely remaining. And hardly any hair is coming out. Now maybe I can just start reefing it, but I'm not gonna do that. That'd be ridiculous, right? I'm just kind of sinking it all the way in to where the teeth are and just slowly dragging it. A little bit more, but nothing crazy. Now, can you actually see where I'm going here? All the way down. Yeah, you can. Now let's see here. Like I'm not going right down, because like look how deep this is. Okay, Like it's got to be at least 3 to 4 inches, but it's going pretty deep. Now, of course, a real tan is better. I'm not gonna say that it isn't, all right? But how much did this cost? Okay. Now, I probably give myself about an 80%, maybe a 70% on the fleshing. But I thought I did a pretty good job with my skill level and what I actually had. I wouldn't have wanted to go any less, all right? Because I think that's where you're going to be running into problems, okay? Leaving big chunks of meat and fat, where any insects or bacteria can collect. Now, keeping it also in a very dry environment is crucial, where there's no insects, all right? That helps. Same thing with my hat. I'm going to bring out my hat here. Because, sorry guys, I'm off screen here and I can't get my hat down. Because everybody still busts my balls over my hat. Same recipe, same situation, right? And they're like, oh, that's gonna stink or go rotten or whatever else like that, or tell me that I just ruined a perfectly good animal, and how dare you kill something and tell other people the techniques that you used. You're a disgrace. Oh man, it goes on and on. Absolutely. And that's fine. You know what? They have their ways and I have mine, and this is as good as the day, okay, that I made this hat. Same thing with tanning this bear. All right. So here you go. Take it or leave it. That's pretty much combing an entire bear. You know what? I'll comb it a little bit more. All right. I'll comb over here. Right? Pause. Right? All the way down here. Right? And over in the belly, man, is this ever thin. This is where I screwed up big time, right? Got a bunch of holes there. That is super thin. Watch out there. Watch out there. I'm surprised that it still remains fairly straight here. I don't want to go too fast either. I don't want to take out any hair unnecessarily either, but I want to just see and show everyone, after you comb an entire bear, how much hair actually comes out. I think with slippage of a bear like this, you would see just mats of hair. I have never had any slippage at all, ever. You know, I don't do this for a living or as a major hobby at all, but I've never seen slippage from this recipe at all. No slow, right? There we go. And that's just any fur that's close to the skin, all right? All right. Well, I hope this answers any questions that you may have about the integrity of this. I think I did this in 2015, so it'd be 6 years or whenever I did do it. So take it or leave it. Bet you complain. You know, give me the recipe of your professional tan, all right? I'd appreciate that. Thanks a lot.